Well, I want to officially welcome everyone to session 2 of the 2021 Women Build Virtual Empowerment Week of events. I am so honored to have Lida Calvert-Hayes here on today. I won't take her thunder and tell her secrets, but I can assure you, just in the short time that I've taught with her, she is absolutely wonderful. And so today, she'll share a little bit about her journey. And I encourage you all to ask questions, share comments, because the whole point of this is for us to empower each other and really learn from each other. So without further ado, Miss Lida Hayes, if you would.
Thank you so much. And thanks for having me. And thanks for joining. I really appreciate that. I was sitting here and I thought, God, suppose nobody joins. What do you do? Do you just call it quits or what do you do? But I appreciate it a whole lot. And I hope you'll learn something from my journey. It's been a different type journey for a woman, and it's worked out really, really well for me. I wonder, of the ones that I own, how many have really been interested in starting your own business? If you can just kind of, I got your picture up there, if you can just kind of wave and kind of let me know where you feel on really charting your own course in life. Great. Okay. I'll start out with myself and let you know kind of how I got involved in this. I lived in the eastern part of the state, and I went through a divorce. And I had three little children at the time, like 2, 4, and 6. And I felt like that I needed to move. And I was scared. I'll be honest with you. I was scared to leave my friends and where I went to school and things like that. But I felt like I needed a new journey. My father was a tobacconist, and so he had traveled right much. And as a young child, I always sat on a pile of tobacco somewhere where he was either buying and that's when tobacco was kind of king. Well, it wasn't kind of king, I guess it was king then. So he traveled to Winston-Salem a lot, and I'd always liked Winston-Salem. It just seemed like not a big, big, big city like Atlanta or anything like that, but a place where I felt like I would be able to enjoy some things that I like, the arts and things like that. But also having 3 little children, I felt like that it would be a place not that far from my mom and dad where they could, come and visit also. So we made the move. Uh, I really didn't know anybody when we first moved up here. So I thought the best thing to do was to substitute teach. So as the children got older, I did substitute teaching. And I guess that's what really got me involved in my run for school board also, because I am on the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Board now. And a lot had to do with seeing the education and also seeing the kids that really needed education that I felt like needed more hands-on. So I substitute taught. That's how I made my money, because I wasn't getting any child support or anything. Sometimes you get in a situation and you don't think you're going to be in a situation like that. And sometimes it happens to you. So you got to do what you can to get out there and make do. I always had kind of a knack for moving around. I'm not one that just sits in the chair or one that doesn't like the outdoors I like to be a mover. I've had a real hard time with this virtual stuff too, because I'm not moving and I'm a people person. So in 1986, a friend of mine, she was teaching kindergarten, decided we would start a company. And I said, well, what are we going to do? And what do we know something about? And I'm no cook. I knew I couldn't do anything like that. So I said, what about if we hire a painter and we try to do that through a subcontractor? Because I've never painted anything in my life. Still to this day, I've never painted a bedroom wall. I've never done any painting. So we decided that that's what we would do, until my partner decided, after we had done light poles downtown for the city of Winston-Salem, excuse me, on Trade Street, which was not like Trade Street today. I mean, it was definitely entirely different, that this was not what she thought she wanted to do. So she said, Lida, I'm going to have to resign. And I said, resign? When we started the business, we only put $200 in the business. She put up 100 and I put up 100. And we named it S&L Painting. That was for Sue and Lida. Sometimes I think that S&L stood for something different than Sue and Lida. But anyway, that was our start. So we went and we were able to get credit at a paint store so we could buy the paint. So we had our $200. So she came to me and said, Lida, I just don't want to do this. And she said, do you want to give me my $100 back? I said, yeah, okay, that's no problem. I will give you the $100 back. So anyway, that's exactly what happened that way. So I went on my own. My first job in 1986, a long time ago, was the light poles for the city. And you may wonder how you can get involved in something. So I bid the job with the city, and I didn't know how much to charge or anything, but I went out and I found a painter, and he told me what he would charge me. So I thought, well, I'm gonna put, you gotta have some profit. I gotta have some dress money on there. So I put some profit on it, and we did all the light poles for the city of Winston-Salem on Trade Street. And like I said, we had a crowd. It was better than watching soap operas, because at that time it was a whole lot going on Trade Street. So I learned a lot about painting, but I learned a lot about some other things too. But anyway, I finished the job, and I decided, I need to have my own crew. I need to have painters that are working for me rather than a subcontractor, because sometimes he wouldn't show up and he didn't take the responsibility. He did finish those light poles, thank God, but it was kind of scary. So I decided I would hire my own people. And it's really weird. I went into Happy Hills Garden because I knew some people over at Happy Hills Garden, and I started hiring painters in Happy Hills. Every single one of my painters were minority painters. I didn't have a painter that really wanted to come in and work for a female except minority painters. And I felt that was kind of strange, but anyway, I had the minority group from Happy Hills came to work for me. And not only did they come to work for me, but we really became brothers and sisters. And I learned so much from Happy Hills and from the people that lived in Happy Hills. So we decided that what we would do, and I'm talking to my painters too, because I'm a novice at this. I said, well, we got to get us a van, because my painters did not have transportation to be able to get back and forth. And so I went out and I bought 2 vans. Now, when I say I bought 2 vans, you should have seen these 2 vans. We named one of the van Black Beauty. It would hardly run, but painters are pretty good mechanics too. So we got the Black Beauty running, and we also bought Old Yellow. We bought Old Yellow, and we decided that we could do some housework over Drayton Pines. If you know Drayton Pines off of 14th Street, there are 44 houses over there. Well, I'd never done a house in my life. Never. All I'd done was those light posts. So we decided that we would do Drayton Pines, 44 houses, and we had to bid that job. But my painters were pretty astute at pricing. And I got the paint manufacturing people to get involved also. Of course, they thought we were crazy, and they didn't spend a lot of time with us. It was a real trip. I didn't have an office, so we did payroll in the car, or once those houses got built, a little bit on the floor, and that became our office. The painters, you look at the people that start a company, but your company's not worth anything if you don't have good employees. And I had good employees. I had employees that had never had somebody buy them a sandwich, or good employees that felt like that they were really, really needed. We were so good, and we finished those 44 houses that, if you can believe this, the governor came. We sat on the front row with the city of Winston-Salem and the mayor, and they turned those houses over, and those houses right now are standing in good shape at Drayton Pines. So being a female, I found out that it was hard to get the people that I thought were going to come to me and want to work with me. So that's something you ladies might want to think about. A lot of times when you first start out in a business, they doubt you, and they feel like, well, she can't do that, and really and truly, I couldn't have done it. So what you want to do is make sure that you have good employees. And you'll be able to tell right from the start the people that come and work for you and want to work for you and want to do a really, really good job for you. Now, this may surprise you, but I've been in business 34, 35 years. I still have some of those painters. I know the children, and they moved out of Happy Hills. They're not in Happy Hills now. They bought houses. They've been able to move ahead, and they've been able to move ahead not because of me. I was able to generate and get more jobs, but they were the ones that made those jobs sell. It was easy to be on the phone to bid jobs and things like that, but the guys that are out in the field, they were the ones that really, really made S&L painting and decorating. I find a lot of times people don't recognize the little man, the one that gets out there and works really, really hard, and they go and they recognize the person that started the company or did something that got their name out there. But it's the people that work for you, and that's something, ladies, I don't want you to ever forget. It's those people that get out there and make it for you. Because if it had been me having to get out there and paint and make it in this world as a woman, in a man's world, I couldn't have done it. At Drayton Pines, we had a lot of episodes of different things that happened. Some of the guys that were working for the contractor didn't like having a female on the job. And I had Cool Daddy. Cool Daddy and I went out, we bought the vans together. I love Cool Daddy to this day. Cool Daddy's not able to work now because he's got a lot of medical issues. But Cool Daddy, somebody said something to me, called me a bitch or something, one of those contractor guys, and Cool Daddy slammed him. I mean, he put him on the ground in a minute. And from then on, it didn't take long. It didn't take long for bad news to travel. They were like, don't say anything to Miss Lida as long as Cool Daddy's there and Cheek's there. I also hired some prisoners. Cool Daddy had been in prison, and another one of my painters, Cheek, they'd been in prison. But let me tell you, those guys turned their life around, and not only that, they looked after me. There was no word on the street that anybody was going to backtalk Miss Lida. So, it's always good to have somebody and to care for that person and to make sure that in life they have a house and they have things that they need that look after you. And I was, thank goodness, able to do that. Cool Daddy got sick, and Cool Daddy had trouble with his medical bills. And because of the company and because of what he's done, he owes Baptist Hospital $0. So we were just a team. After doing Drayton Pines, it kind of got on the street, don't mess with that lady. And we still had to bid, and we still had a hard time, to be honest. It was still really, really hard trying to get jobs. And unfortunately, it was hard because I was a female, because I knew we were doing better work than some of the people that were bidding against us. But it was hard being in a man's world. I think it's let up now. In fact, I know it has some, but getting started was hard. I don't know what you ladies might want to get started in, but believe you me, cream rises to the top. And if you work hard, don't think you can't be at the top. Don't let anybody put you down, whether you're in a man's world, you're in a woman's world, or whatever. If you want it, you can get it. And I'm a prime example. With $200, we are now a multi-million-dollar company. And like I said, it wasn't from this lady that's talking to you right now. It's from the people that were employed and the people that work for S&L Painting and Decorating. After that, I was able to hire estimators, because everything we do now, we don't used to. I'd have to get right in the road and see what was going up, what was coming out of the ground and all of that. But now we do everything from plans. Everything we do is done with the computer and with plans, and I have 4 estimators now. So now we're doing big jobs. Some of the jobs that we've done, and I wrote some of this down because y'all will probably know about some of these jobs. Dale, we did Caterpillar. The job I really enjoyed doing, it was really fun to do, was the Wells Fargo building, the Dome. We did that building, and we did that building with a group out of Atlanta. So I was able to, really, really learn a lot about that. I landed the RJ Reynolds contract. I wanted that RJ Reynolds contract. I worried them to death until finally, because that was the whole facilities for RJ Reynolds. So then I had to beef up, put more people on, but we landed that contract, and we still have that contract today. Wake Forest University, we landed that contract. Now I have to bid that against some other people, out there that want to do the dorms and things like that. But we were able to land the contract too. Now you got to think, this is from a $200 investment. So ladies, don't feel like you can't do this, because you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. But like I said, the thing is, get good employees and listen to what people have told you that have been in the business before. I really, like I said, I appreciate you being here today to listen to me, and for me to be able to tell you, don't let anything stop you. Now you have to be brassy. And you got to get out there, and when somebody gets in your face, you got to get right back in their face. I mean, sometimes it's not pleasant to be in a position of owning the company and have somebody trying to say something about you or something about your employees. So you got to be kind of resilient. You got to stand up for what you think is right and not get pushed around. And they can call you a bitch. They can call you anything they want to call you. What you want to do is give them a good job and also collect your money. Now, collecting money, that can be a pain too, because you do the job and you do a good job, and it's time for you to get your reward, and somebody's going to try to pick at you and do this and do that. Take notes. You always want to have your computer handy, and now it's so good. Back in my day, they didn't have where I could just go out and take pictures. I got to lug some camera, and everybody knows, and nobody knows. Now, one of the best things that we've got going in our company is the phone, because we can take a picture of something. If somebody says, hey, they didn't put but one coat of paint on there, you know, we take a picture of each guy when they're working, and there are lots of guys. We got lots from 75 to 100 men now. And we make sure that each one of them carries a company phone that's a lead man. So technology really plays a big place in what you're doing now in the world. It's helped us so much. You used to have to remember, we had to take an attaché case around, we had to pull it out, we had to take notes, we had to do all kinds of things like that. But the technology has been really well. And speak highly of yourself. I don't know how many of you feel like that, well, maybe I can't do this, or maybe this is not what I want. You can do it. You can do it. I'm promising you. If you work hard enough, you can do and be whatever you want to do. So the construction end for me, like I said, was hard. It still is today. I've gotten smart enough to know when someone is not going to want a female, and it still happens on the jobs today. And when that happens, I make sure that I send one of my foremen, one of my males out there to come back with the cake. So you just got to be smart and play smart on how you do things. As far as bookkeeping and things like that, one of the first things you want to do is go out and get insurance. Insurance is really important, especially workman's comp, things like that. We usually are working out of cranes, and we're working out of high equipment, but it doesn't matter what you're working out of. You want to make sure that whoever works for you, or yourself, if you want to do it yourself, that you make sure you get that workman's comp and general liability insurance. And there are different prices. So you really have to go out and price who gives you the best price and the best bargain deal. You're going to be audited also. I have a lot of audits that I really didn't know anything about audits with insurance and things like that. You ladies could probably teach me a whole lot on that, because when I went into this, I didn't know, I didn't know a whole lot of it. All I knew about was substitute teaching. So, I don't know what fields you're interested in, but I will say now, in construction, you can make good money. You can make good money in construction. And you can be a female. Now, the first thing I did, North Carolina has a program which you can register as a WBE. And on some of these jobs, unfortunately, I know they hate it at times, but they gotta use you. They gotta make that quota, and they gotta have certain percentage of women on the job. So that has helped me out also. I went to Camp Lejeune, opened an office down at Camp Lejeune with the military, and we stayed down there for about 3 years. That was kind of hard to do because of, being away and things like that. But there are so many opportunities for women now that were not opportunities when I came out in 1986. So, I hope that this has helped a little bit. I can go on and on whatever, because it's probably happened to me. So, if you have any questions, I'd really like to entertain some questions or something. I don't know if you have any to me, but, I can just tell you from my experience, it's been good. I couldn't go and do the things that I go and do now. But I guess what I want to emphasize is the most important thing is who you hire and who works for you, because they're going to carry your name. If they're bad, they're going to carry your name. And if they're good, you're going to be looked at in a different light. So you've got to be careful with things like that. But I can't think of anything that we women can't do in a man's world if we get out there and we try hard. I mean, why should the men be making all the money? What about us? I mean, we are smart. I'm sure everybody that I'm talking to is an extremely smart person. And there's no reason why you can't go out and do what you want to do too. Like I said, it's changed. When I first started, it was extremely hard, but it has changed, and things for me have been better. But they'll always, they're always going to be tough, and there are always going to be people that are going to want you on the job, or people that aren't going to want you on the job. But take advantage of every opportunity that you have. And like I said, one of the most important things is that 10%, that when I first started work, it didn't matter about women. There was nothing. And, get out there, learn your trade, and do what you feel like you want to do. Because unfortunately, we women are still in a world where a lot of men think they're going to dominate us. It does not have to happen. If you get out there and you're smart, which I know you are, and you have confidence in yourself, don't let anybody put you down as to what you can do. You're your own person, and you know what you can do. When we were children, we needed mama and daddy, but now we're adults. And what we need now is to look inside our soul and to be able to say, I know I can do this. And also, you're precious, every one of you, and don't let anybody put you down. Any questions of me? I mean, I can go on and on and on, because like I said, there's not much that hasn't happened to me in the construction end, but I just wanted to kind of put it out there a little bit as to where we are and what we can do as women. And don't rely on someone to plan your future. You plan your own future, whatever it is you want to do. I don't know if it's construction. It'll be interesting, to hear what you ladies want to do, because I guarantee you can do it. You can do it. And these banks around here, they're willing to lend money too. So, if you need to go out and borrow money to get going on what you're going to do, just make sure you've got a firm plan, and that you can sell yourself, because nobody's going to sell yourself as well as you are. You can take anybody up there with you, but nobody's going to sell like you're going to sell yourself. Always have confidence in yourself. You wouldn't be here today if you didn't have confidence in yourself. And you wouldn't be here today if you didn't want to get out there and to let the world know who you are and what you can do. So I wish you the best. Any questions? And like I said, I've been through a whole lot. You can fire anything at me. Any questions at all, get out there and go for it. If that's what you want, because I really think with you being here today, there's a reason you're here, and you're thinking outside, what you want to do and how you want to do it. Plan it. And if it's what you want, don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Okay, how's that? Did I go long enough, or too long, or too short?
That was wonderful. And it looks like Haley has a question for you. You have a question, Haley?
Oh my gosh, I have so many questions.
Good. Okay. I'm ready. Good, Haley. I'm so glad you're here.
Okay. So just a little bit. I actually started an interior painting business in January.
Uh-huh.
And so far I'm booked all the way until the middle of June.
Look at you. That is wonderful.
Right now it's just me, but one question that I had was, whenever you said that you need to hire good people, I was actually thinking about hiring a couple other people, because I do it myself. Yeah. So I've been painting residential properties. I do properties for Habitat in Stokes County and Forsyth County.
That's great.
And, but where I'm getting booked up, I want to have another person. But what I'm afraid of is what happens if you don't keep enough work for all these people.
Well, I think that's happening right now everywhere. I mean, if you look at what's happening with the virus,
right.
We never had a day off. We were lucky. All of our guys have worked every single day. What you got to do, just get, what I do, I have a graph, and I make sure that I've got my holes filled in as best that I can. And you may have to take something that's a little cheaper, than what you want to take just to be able to fill in that hole. But I mean, don't take it to lose money or anything like that. But you can take something that's a little cheaper to fill in because you want to just keep going like that. Another thing, the people that you're working for, get them to write references. Get them to write references on your work and what you've done and how good a job you've done for them. Advertising right now, I'm not a big person on advertising right now because I think it can be a waste of money. But advertise everywhere you go with yard signs.
Yard signs.
Okay, and wherever you're working, put out yard signs, let people know, I'm here. And also, you might want to go and knock on the neighbor's door and say, hey, I'm right here. Is there anything I can do to help you? And if you want a reference, my neighbor will be more than happy to give you a good reference. But the selling part now, that's what I love. I love the selling part. But you got to get your name out there as best you can, and as cheap as you can. And those yard signs are cheap. Even if you don't have to get anything fancy, just something that's got your name up there and your telephone number. And right now, the way the building is, I would make sure that you got that out, especially, I don't know if you do apartments a lot or not. I don't do a lot of apartments because I can't compete with, I can't compete with a smaller group. I got to have a large group that I'm competing against because of the number of employees and all that I have, and the insurance and all this that I'm, the vans I have. Gosh, I don't know. We got 24 vans, we got trucks, we got all of that. So I got to cover my costs. So my cost is going to be much higher than your cost. So what I would do if I were you, I would definitely go with the yard signs, and I would definitely have references. When you, and look, I've knocked on doors before. I mean, I'll go next door and say, here I am. Is there anything I can do for you? And introduce yourself. It's like anything. When I ran for school board, I was scared. I didn't know if I was going to get that school board or not. But I found out, and it's no different than a business. I found out that your name is going to sell. You got to get your name out there. And that is the best thing in the world to do with those yard signs, whatever. I mean, that's whether it's politics or whether it's a business. You get your name out there where people recognize who you are. And also, they will find out what type of work you do. And if they get good references, they're going to want you. There's nothing worse than a bad paint job. Nothing worse.
My next question was, how long until you felt, this is a little bit embarrassing. So I had a full-time job last year as a cook for a restaurant. And then they closed down because of COVID, but then they started doing remodeling. And because I was living paycheck to paycheck, I was like, hey, let me do it cheaper than what you would hire somebody else to do it. So I went in and painted, replaced all the flooring, and did the ceiling work. And then I decided that I didn't want to cook anymore, that's the stuff I wanted to do. But because I'm by myself, painting is easier than doing the other things by myself. So how long did it take, like years or months wise, until you were like, this is my job? Because right now I still work at the restaurant because they open back one day a week. And I'm too scared to not work there anymore because I'm afraid that, well, what happens if I don't get any more work then, and then I'm out of job?
Well, I think one thing you want to do is get jobs on the books. Get jobs instead of, working on Tuesday. You want to know where you're going to be the next Tuesday. So see if you can get jobs on the books ahead of schedule. And you probably right to start with. It's going to be hard, especially right now, to fill up every single day. But can you ask the restaurant if maybe you have some time? Can you come in? I substitute taught for a long time. I don't know if they'd be interested in anything like that, but sometimes if you've got something you can put on the back burner, that would help. And
that is my back burner spot right now. So I work 1 or 2 days a week there, but I just have to, even though it's kind of getting away in my painting right now, because I'm wanting to get jobs done. And I'm like, well, I have to stop and go work at the restaurant, which is like 40 minutes from anywhere that I'm painting.
Yeah.
So,
I would just, if painting is what you want, then eventually you're going to have to take the chance.
right.
I had to just take the chance where they didn't call me to substitute because
Right.
they're like, don't call Lida, she's starting another business and she's, so I just tried really, really hard to make sure that I could cover myself, if nothing else, that I could cover my bills. Because
Right.
I was single at the time too, until I remarried. I was single, but get a list of jobs. Get a list of jobs if you can. Spring's coming. Spring's coming. Now there are some of these places that you can advertise, like in some of these newspaper things, for free. Now it's not in the journal, but there are some of these that you and also start social media. Social media
I have it on there.
Stick.
I have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and then I have free ads and a couple. My in-laws family does like a Christian newsletter, and they do like 25,000 a week or something.
Yeah. Churches are good.
That's what I have. Yeah.
Churches are really, really good. But that's exactly what I would do. I would start a calendar. I still do it now. Start a calendar and put on there now. How many jobs have we got? Such and such and so and so. Find out who does houses. I don't do houses. Find out who does houses that you can sub from.
That was another question.
Apartments. They're building apartments here left and right. And if you can do a house, you can certainly do an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
It's smaller, most of them, and a lot easier. But you just gotta, you get your name out there. And the best way to get your name out there, I think, is by these signs. Put it on the corner. Stick it all, going down the highway. There's so-and-so, she does house painting. That's what I do, but got to get your name out.
And last question was your WBE. How did you say? So I don't really understand. Like, I understand what it does, but like, how do you be like, hey, I'm a woman, so you need to.
It's mainly like federal jobs and state jobs. And city jobs. The first thing you want to do is go down to the city and let them know that they have the minority women's business. They've got an office down there. Go down there and get your name on the list, and get your name on the list now. If you're not doing what you want to do right now, but you think I want to do something different, get on that city list, and they will call you. If they don't, let me know, because I get after them a lot. And
where is this at?
It's down in City Hall. At City Hall in Winston-Salem. Okay. Yes, and they cover the whole Forsyth County.
Okay. Sorry, I'm out of Mount Airy, Surrey County. So that's
then
fine.
What you do, you go to where you are registered, where you live, and I'm sure they have the MWB List. There's also one for the state of North Carolina.
Okay.
But if I were you, I'd put it on the Winston-Salem one also.
Okay.
I mean, you're not that far.
No.
It's not like you can't do a job in Winston-Salem.
No.
I mean, here I was at Camp Lejeune. I mean, so, you can, I'd get on all the MWBE list.
Okay.
Did that help?
That was all my questions. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And good luck to you.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Haley, what's the name of your business?
Inspired Paints.
Inspired. I like that. I'm going to write that down. If somebody calls me, you need to send me some information. If anybody calls me for a house, because I do get calls on houses, I'll give out your information.
Okay. How do I get in touch with you?
Okay. It's SNL Painting and Decorating Inc.
Is it SN?
and it's just a little squibbly thing. SNL. I don't know what they call it. Painting and Decorating Inc. 1011 Northwest Boulevard, Winston-Salem, 27106. And put on the outside, Lida, Lida, and draw a circle around it. Because I got people in there that like to open mail.
Okay. Okay. You just want business cards? Is that what you want?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And if they call on a house, I'll tell them.
Okay.
That might help
Thank you.
I hope so.
Me too.
Well, that's awesome. I do have a question because, you know, you said you started out with having a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Was it at any point when Sue came back and say, I want to jump back in? Did she regret it?
Sue was my best friend. And Sue ended up, she was single too. She ended up finding a pilot. And she's in Florida now. I said, thank you, Sue.
Right. Well, that works out for her in a different way.
Yeah. She's happy. And
That's awesome.
She's happy for me. But we were best friends. And that's, you know, that's why we started out together. She was single, I was single. And we were like, woe is me, you know, school.
That's the hobby, start a business. Why not, right?
I know. Isn't it the truth?
Well, you also mentioned, you know, being active in the community. You're on the school board now. So at what point did you decide that it's time to get involved by running for an office or running for a board? Because I'm sure, like you mentioned, you learned a lot about the community by employing people that are local. So what made you say, I'm just going to do it? I'm going to try.
I think, you know, I was always in different things. I mean, you know, organizations that involve children are my heart. I mean, I love children. And my children got lucky because they got the best dad finally that they could ever have gotten in this whole wide world. And not only did they get the best dad, but their biological father just didn't see us. I mean, he got a girlfriend and he was gone. Which at first, you know, I thought, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to make this. But you can. And having dropped my husband down to me, and he adopted my children and I adopted his children. So we ended up with 5 children. And, you know, for me, it was the best thing that ever happened. But I don't know. You just, it's your feeling. It's your feeling. I was scared to run for office. I was scared. The first time I ran one time, I ran for city council. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, you talk about a buffoon out there. I was a buffoon out there. I mean, I could answer the questions and all of that, but I didn't know how to sell myself. And I was trying to do it, and I came really close. I ran against Jeff McIntosh, who's a great guy. And Jeff, I mean, we were close. It came close. And I'm so glad Jeff won. I mean, it was really funny. Afterwards, I went to Jeff and I said, Jeff, I am so glad you won because you're just going to do such a good job. And my heart was not really, I mean, I liked city council but my heart was with the kids. So the next time I got appointed, they had somebody to leave and the board appointed me. And then the past 2 years back, I was top vote getter for running. So it made me feel like people knew where my heart was. And it'll always be there with those kids, and still to this day. You know, I want those kids to get back in school as quickly as they can. I want those teachers safe. I feel like, and you know, that's a whole nother episode, but I found one thing, and this is something else. If you get to the table, you got to vote. you can vote, raise your hand. You know, what do you think about it? You know, and your vote counts. And a lot of times, if you're not at the table, you don't have as much emphasis as you do at the table. So for me, dealing with those kids, I wanted the best of the best, because a lot of those kids, all they've got is education. And you know, we've had a lot of things to happen with this virus going on, from suicide to you name it. So I'm glad that I did it. I mean, it's hard work. It's not easy, and especially working, but you just go where your heart is, and people will sense where your heart is. So, you know, don't sit back and say, I don't think I can do this, because you can. You can do it, but you got, you know, you gotta get at the table, and you got to get off the menu, because the menu, everybody reads the menu, and the menu's just there. You got to get to the table. So I'm a big believer in that. And I'm a big believer in women, and I am a huge believer in what we women, what we can do. I really, really am. I hate to see a beat down woman to feel like she can't do anything, or one that won't try. And so if you try and you don't make it, you tried. You tried. I mean, we're not meant for everything, but get out there and try. If it's your business, whatever it is, try. And if you don't make it the first time, there's always the second, third, fourth, fifth. It keeps going. It's not going to stop. Get out there and try. Be the person you want to be.
Thank you for answering that. That's so, yeah, it just sounds really good how you know, as you moved along, your confidence in yourself really grew. So whether or not you thought you could win, you still went after it. And I absolutely love that. That's one thing that I love to do, even with my role with Habitat. I love to help the homeowners set goals and crush them, really go out there and crush their personal goals, their career goals, whatever it is. But it also sounds like you have been able to inspire your children. From what I hear, you know, you've mentioned here and there, but it sounds like they're successful, they're risk takers. And I can only imagine that them growing up watching you, they were able to gain confidence in themselves. So,
well, I've been really, really, really fortunate, you know, with the kids. Two of them are doctors, and one's here at Baptist, and he's in the ER. But they had to work hard, and they knew that I wasn't going to put up with, you know, being out running around at night and things like that. One of them, my daughter, she runs 3 businesses in Atlanta, and you know, I've just been, I don't know, I've been so fortunate with the kids. But I was a strict mom, and I didn't give them a chance to really, I mean, if they got in trouble, they weren't going to get in that trouble but one time, because they knew, you know, the fear of God was coming their way. So, you know, you just have to, I don't know, you got to be the person to show your kids and the people around you what you feel like they can do also, and give them the respect and the kindness. I'm really big on kindness, you know, that they need. I have a lot of painters that have come to me with just no ambition. I mean, they feel like they can't do this, and they feel like they can't do that. And, you know, you got to let people know that you care, and help everybody. We're all the same. We are all the same. And we all want the love and the happiness. And you just got to be a friend to mankind. And I've tried to do that. I love every painter that's come to work for me. Every painter. I really, really do. At Christmas, it's my favorite time, because they all bring their children in, and we do the Christmas. And I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, I've been blessed. I've been blessed.
that is so wonderful. Does anyone else have any questions? at all? Ms. Griffin, Haley, do you have questions? No? Well, Miss Lida Hayes, I truly, I'm just so inspired, and I'm really thank you for taking the time to share your journey. And it sounds like you still have some wonderful time to just really continue to crush this industry. And I just think that from today, I know for myself, I have been so inspired and really encouraged to press toward whatever my dream is and to be able to kind of tell others that as well. So if you all are interested, definitely visit habitatforsight.org to register for the following sessions. We have sessions going until Friday of this week. And of course, you can find Lida Hayes at S&L Painting and Decorating.
And call me if you need anything.
Yeah.
Call me.
Yes, I'll be sure to share your information. I drive past there all the time and had no clue. It's so wonderful to hear the story behind it and history.
Well, it's not fancy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not fancy at all, but you know, it gets the job. It gets the job done. So,
Absolutely.
but you know what? I want to thank the three that are here with us today, and let you know that you started your journey. You started your journey. Put your next foot forward and go and do and be who you want to be and do what you want to do. Life's short, and the older you get, the faster it goes by.
I keep hearing that.
It's the truth. Take it from me. It's the truth.
That's so funny. Well, again, thank you so much, ladies. If you all have no other questions, I'll just leave you all to the rest of your evening. And again, just visit habitatforsight.org to find out about the rest of the session. Ms. Lida Hayes, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Good luck to all of you. Send me cards and letters and let me know how well you're doing. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. You have a great one.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.